programa de hoje, nós vamos conhecer mais mulheres que trabalham aqui e que podem nos explicar ainda mais sobre como o mundo feminino está transformando o Vale do Silício e, claro, contribuindo muito para o panorama da inovação na Califórnia e, por extensão, no mundo. A Plug and Play é uma empresa que conecta as melhores startups de tecnologia com as maiores corporações do mundo. E ninguém melhor que uma mulher para explicar como tudo funciona.
Plug and Play today is the largest global technology accelerator. We have a very, very interesting history. We got our start back in the 90s with our founder and CEO. His name is Saeed Amidi. He's a very, very traditional Iranian businessman. During the Iranian Revolution, Saeed and his family moved to the States, and it was his duty to rebuild his family's wealth because most of their assets were frozen in Iran during the revolution. So Saeed moved his family here, and what he did, the first thing he did to start to rebuild his wealth, his portfolio, was he purchased real estate, primarily in downtown Palo Alto on University Avenue, which that in itself, if you're looking at it today, that in itself is a genius investment, even before startups. So Saeed moved to the Valley, started purchasing real estate. One of the businesses that he opened, which is still standing today, is a Persian rug gallery. It's called Medallion Rug. So if you go to downtown Palo Alto, it's close to the Apple store, it's called Medallion Rug. Next to the rug gallery, Saeed had another building that was empty. And this was around the time where startups were coming out of their garages looking for co-working space. So he had these startups knocking on his door, coming over to the rug gallery, asking if he was leasing office space. Because their teams were growing, they were looking for space. So Saeed started leasing office space. And this is what he became known for. This is kind of how Plug and Play came to be. Because of the success of Saeed's tenants. So the founders of Google grew from 3 to 50 employees inside of Saeed's building in downtown Palo Alto. Yeah, they don't always mention that in their story, but that's okay. The next company, this is a funny story. So the founders of PayPal approached Saeed wanting to lease office space. At the time, they had terrible credit. But they weren't a credit-worthy company at the time, but they had some cash. So Saeed's talking to these guys. He's like, I don't know about these guys. I don't think they're going to honor their rent agreement. So he asked for 2 years of upfront rent payment. Saeed is a very, very avid golfer, and it just so happens that all of his golf buddies are VCs, venture capitalists on Sand Hill Road, right? It gets better. So as Saeed's playing rounds of golf with his VC buddies back in the day, they're telling him about all the success they're having with investing in entrepreneurs. And they quickly realized that he had amazing talent right underneath his nose. He was the landlord to these companies that were eventually going to be valued at billions and billions of dollars. They're like, Saeed, why the hell are you selling rugs? You got to start investing in startups. That's where the money is. And Saeed's like, I don't know how to do that. What do I do? What's a term sheet? Like, what's IoT? What is this? What's software as a service? I don't know how to do that. So his VC friends, they're encouraging him. They're like, Saeed, see if you can invest in some of the companies in your building and some of your tenants. We will help you along the way. We'll coach you. We'll show you how to identify those good opportunities, and we'll be there to hold your hand with your first few investments. So that's what he did. After that game, he turned around, went back to the co-working space, and he knocked on PayPal's cubicle. He wanted to see if he could invest, and they agreed. They agreed to let him invest. Not purely for the money, because why would you let some Persian rug dealer invest in your company? That's not smart money. But they saw that Saeed had an incredible network of investors. So they're like, okay, we'll let this guy invest and he can connect us to these tier 1 VCs. So they agreed to let him invest, and he ended up returning those 2 years of upfront rent payment in the form of investment. Saeed invested the first $100,000 into PayPal. Not bad for a first investment, I would say. Now, fast forward to 2002, PayPal was acquired by eBay. And at that point, I'm pretty sure Saeed looked at his bank account and thought, holy shit, how do I do this again? So he thought, what if I buy a bigger building?
How much was that?
The return was very, very good.
You can
Very, very good.
It's public.
I think it was about 35x return. That's just our first investment.
Wow.
That's our first unicorn. So after the success of PayPal, Saeed thought, what if I buy a bigger building and fill it up with more startups and create this ecosystem where we have startups working in the same area, we have VCs coming in to meet the companies. We build an ecosystem, a platform around this. Maybe I'll get more PayPals and Googles and Logitechs, companies like that. So that's just what he did. In 2006, he purchased this building, our headquarters where we are right now. At the time, this building was an abandoned Philips semiconductor building. He filled it up with startups, started hosting events, made a few investments, invited his VC friends along to come and look at some of the entrepreneurs here. And that is when we officially became Plug and Play Tech Center in 2006. But today, instead of just offering office space, we have a whole host of services that we offer to entrepreneurs from all over the world to help accelerate their growth. On the most basic level, it's logistical support. This building is around 180,000 square feet. I think that's over 17,000 square meters. Right now, we have 422 startups that have office space here.
Wow.
422 companies.
Saeed's a lucky guy, right?
Very lucky. Very, very lucky. Sometimes it's called plug and pray. So we've got 422 startups in the building. Aside from that, we have around 55 large corporations that have their innovation scouts here, which is great for startups. They all want to do business development. It's easy. You come to Plug and Play, it's Silicon Valley in a box. You have everything you need here to really succeed. Come here, you have your office space. We host over 700 events every year.
Wow.
That's great for startups. You don't have to go very far to join an event. Chances are you'll meet a VC. That could be your next investor. You might meet a large corporation. That could become your first customer. Or you might meet a mentor that could help mentor you along the way. So we love hosting events here. We have a great pool of mentors to help our startups. We have an ecosystem of executives in residence. These are ex-C-level executives who have retired from the boring corporate life, and they've come to Plug and Play to give back to the startup community in the form of mentorship. What else? Of course, we invest. Plug and Play invests in over 200 companies every year.
200.
Over 200 companies every year. Last year, we did 262 investments. We're not writing multi-million-dollar checks, though. Usually $25,000 up to $500,000. Sweet spot, $100,000, $150,000 range. And since we're not writing these multi-million-dollar checks, we co-invest. We work with around 200 of the top VCs in Silicon Valley who are coming here on a daily basis to sit in deal review sessions and look at our startups and maybe co-invest with us. Many of those VCs are still Saeed's golf buddies. So we're an active investor, but the last piece of the puzzle really comes with the corporate side, so corporate innovation. That's what Plug and Play is really, really good at, is matching large corporations who have pain points in their different business units, problems they're trying to solve. Plug and Play is good at matching those large corporations with talented startups who are disrupting industries. We bring those startups and those corporates together to help each other solve problems. So that's what Plug and Play is really good at. Right now, the way we work with corporates is currently Plug and Play runs about 12, 13 vertically themed programs for corporate innovation platforms. It's kind of a fancy word for accelerator program, but we don't like to use that term because Plug and Play operates a little bit differently than other accelerators in that if a startup is accepted into one of our programs, we don't take any equity. Cost for the startup is nothing. It's completely free. No pressure. We don't take a piece of your company. What is it like working in Silicon Valley as a female? It's different today than it used to be. Today it can be difficult, but you have to be innovative. You have to find ways to work around that and stand your ground. As a female, one of the things that I appreciate so much about being at Plug and Play is that here, Plug and Play is really the great equalizer. It's a great equalizer. People come here to collaborate. It doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are, what beliefs you have. Everybody comes here to collaborate. It is difficult to be a woman in Silicon Valley in general because it is, I hate to say it, it is a boys' club, but it's our time, it's our job to work together, men and women alike, to sort of break that glass ceiling and really to see each other as equals.
Os programas de crescimento da empresa também são impressionantes.
So, aside from the 12, 13 vertically themed corporate innovation programs that we run, we have what I personally feel is the most exciting and enriching program at Plug and Play for international entrepreneurs. It's a 3-month soft landing program made for international entrepreneurs, where in this program, instead of working with large corporations, we're working with government, public sector, government agencies, trade and economic development organizations, incubators, accelerators at universities in these different countries. And together with our public sector partners, we are we're sourcing and identifying those talented entrepreneurs that live in these different corners of the world. And we're bringing those companies here to Plug and Play to participate in a 3-month program and really accelerate their growth in Silicon Valley. They come here, they have a soft landing. As an entrepreneur, an international entrepreneur coming to Silicon Valley, it can be kind of scary. Where do you go? Where do you live? Where do you work? How do you meet VCs? How do you get a mentor? How do you refine your pitch so that a VC is even going to look at you or take a second look at your pitch deck? So that's why we have this program here, is to bring those entrepreneurs to Silicon Valley and give them all the resources that they need to get their first customers in the US, or to come here and benchmark against other US companies and figure out if this is even a market for them. So we have the international program. I kid you not, it's the best program at Plug and Play.
A participação e a contribuição dos brasileiros não passa despercebida por aqui. Nem poderia.
How many Brazilians? Right now we have 3 Brazilians. One of them is an alumni, Back4 app. I'm going to plug you right now. Back4 app went through our program last year, and we currently have 2 Brazilian companies. One is called Go Good, and the other is called Be Time. And these companies are actually portfolio companies of ours, so we've invested in them through our partnership with Porto Seguro down in Brazil. So as sort of the second leg of their accelerator program in Brazil, they've now come to Plug and Play, and they'll be with me for 3 months where we'll help them get their first US customers.
O melhor do Vale do Silício é que as mulheres por aqui sempre têm o que dizer.
As being a software developer, this world is dominated by the men, and you need to work more to swipe up the idea that women are not good enough to do that job.
We have 250 companies, so just 20% of them are just women. So we can say the men are really dominate at the entrepreneur sector. The rate of the women in the business area is getting higher. The percentage is getting higher, but we have many more years, I think, to get the equal.
Opinions are opinion. Girls can lead the world. Just get rid of the bad opinions, opposite opinions, and study for your target and work hard to reach that target.
But trust yourself and your power.
Move forward and
be brave.
Be encouraged.
E a gente não poderia deixar de ouvir uma brasileira muito especial e com uma história exemplar. Estou muito feliz porque estou entrevistando a Margarise e por 2 motivos. Primeiro, uma mulher, claro, obviamente, dá pra ver, né? Segundo motivo, brasileira. Uma mulher no comando, uma mulher no Vale do Silício, deixando marcas. E o Brasil colocando o seu pezinho lá fora e dominando a situação, né, Margarise?
Sim, obrigada pela oportunidade, Clodoaldo.
Eu que agradeço. Eu queria saber, né, na verdade, nessa nossa temporada nós estamos falando um pouco do Vale do Silício. E o nosso programa tem esse objetivo, mostrar não somente as inovações, mas o por trás das inovações. O que acontece, por que ela existe, o que compõe esse ecossistema, todo esse processo. E você entende muito bem, você vai falar disso. Mas antes eu queria saber por quê. Como você chegou aqui no Vale? Há quanto tempo você está aqui? Conta um pouquinho da Margarise.
Então, no Brasil eu era jornalista, né? E vim aqui para o Vale de férias e minhas amigas que eu estava visitando aqui tinham sido convidadas para um casamento, me levaram. Nesse casamento eu conheci meu marido, um americano.
Uau! Sempre tem um gatinho ou uma gatinha na história, né?
E aí a gente namorou e tudo, e eu voltei pro Brasil para trabalhar, convidei ele para me visitar, dali uns 3 meses ele foi.
Mas não foi um convite só por boa, não? Não, né?
Já estávamos apaixonados.
Venha me visitar, amor, eu vou. Aí o cara chegou e casou.
Imagine isso há 20 anos, não
Uau.
existia Skype, não existia Hangout, não existia WhatsApp, então a gente se manteve ali contato nesse período que eu fui embora e até que ele foi para o Brasil me visitar, mantivemos contatos via telefonemas caríssimos.
Uau, que legal, que legal. E aí você mudou pra cá e começou a sua vida aqui.
Isso. Aí, quando ele foi me visitar, a gente já sabia que não queria um relacionamento à distância, então ficou aquela coisa, quem vem, quem vai. E no fim eu acabei voltando pra cá e reconstruindo a minha vida.
Legal. E já começou trabalhando aqui?
Não, a primeira coisa que eu fiz foi estudar, porque o meu inglês era péssimo. Então eu sabia que eu precisava primeiro
Fala inglês.
Aprender essa língua e ficar um pouquinho fluente nessa língua. Então eu fui estudei inglês, depois eu fiz um curso de marketing. Então aí eu transferi, né, as minhas habilidades para o setor de marketing. E quando eu me mudei, eu já sabia que eu queria manter os meus vínculos profissionais com o Brasil, além dos meus vínculos familiares e afetivos. E eu tive muita sorte porque eu vim para cá no final dos anos 90, que foi o primeiro boom das startups. Então havia muitas oportunidades até para uma pessoa como eu que não tinha experiência nesse mercado. Então foi aí que eu comecei a me engajar com o meio de startups, de tecnologia e me envolver e criar conexões nesse setor.
Que legal, que legal. E de lá pra cá, foi aí que nasceu a ideia de você começar a Big Brasil?
Isso.
O que é a Big Brasil?
Ok. Então, em 2010, eu percebi que eu conhecia vários grupinhos, tanto de brasileiros como de americanos, estrangeiros que moram aqui no Vale, mas que as pessoas não se conheciam. Aí eu falei, como é que não tem uma organização para juntar todo mundo aqui no Vale do Silício que tem interesse no Brasil ou que trabalha para empresas que têm negócios com o Brasil? Voilá! Fundei Bem Brasil
Uau.
em 2010, com esse objetivo de criar uma organização para juntar todo mundo aqui no Vale do Silício que trabalha ou que tem conexões ou que quer aprender sobre o Brasil, mas também para aproximar e criar mais oportunidades entre o Brasil e o Vale.
A posição de Margarise sobre tudo é muito clara, até em seus depoimentos.
Olha, como mulher, eu acho que é fantástico a gente ver recentemente o foco que está se dando na importância de diversidade em empresas, no meio político, no meio de investimento. Tá tendo um foco, um diálogo aberto e é a realização de que precisamos ter mais mulheres representadas em todos os setores. Então é maravilhoso que esse diálogo hoje está em evidência, não só aqui no Vale do Silício, mas em outras partes do mundo. Então eu acho que é muito positivo, porque, veja bem, um estudo do World Economic Forum revelou no ano passado que vai levar 1 século para que as mulheres atinjam igualdade, para que nós tenhamos igualdade de gênero. Então isso é super grave, né? Mas esse diálogo que está havendo hoje, devagarzinho, eu acredito que vamos atingir progresso, tendo a mulher mais representatividade nos diversos setores da sociedade. Como mulher, eu me sinto privilegiada de estar aqui no Vale do Silício construindo o ecossistema de tecnologia interessado no Brasil. Esse é o nosso propósito. Desde que eu fundei em 2010, eu achava que deveria ter aqui no Vale uma organização focada em construir o ecossistema para juntar as pessoas interessadas no Brasil ou que investem no Brasil, ou os profissionais de tecnologia que são brasileiros ou que trabalham para empresas que têm negócios com o Brasil. Eu achava que era importante a gente ter essa organização. Então, para mim é um privilégio estar construindo esse ecossistema e tem muita gente me ajudando nessa construção, principalmente homens, porque no meio de tecnologia, infelizmente, a grande maioria é formada por homens. Então, um dos instrumentos que a gente usa para fazer, para juntar essa comunidade é eventos. E muitas vezes eu tenho dificuldade de trazer mulheres, porque os assuntos que a gente cobre nos nossos eventos é tecnologia, investimento, e infelizmente a mulher não tem representatividade tanto quanto o homem. Aliás, é muito menos representada nesses setores. Então, quando eu vou organizar um evento, eu vejo que há muita dificuldade de trazer mulheres palestrantes, né? Mas eu acho que o diálogo que hoje está sendo incentivado, não só aqui no Vale, como no resto do mundo, com a participação da mulher, eu acho que é super importante, porque então eu acho que a gente vai construir devagarzinho, a gente vai progredir e ver mais mulheres participando. É um longo caminho, mas eu acredito que a gente já tem feito um progresso.